Welcome to A Real Authority, and may I be the first to welcome you to the summer movie season of 2026. And honestly, last summer was really strong, and usually the summer movie season is packed with heaters and big blockbusters, but also just solid films in general. So I just want to welcome you to the channel if this is your introduction. I know I usually say leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and comment at the end of the video, but I feel like with the summer movie season and how much I'm actually looking forward to it, you're going to be seeing a lot of reviews in the next few months. Especially considering the fact that the slate is absolutely stacked. Probably the largest summer slate I've ever seen, but then again, there were probably other ones. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for a lot of what the summer has to provide, whether they're sequels or original films. Of course, The Odyssey is also here. Excited for Obsession, which is coming out in a few weeks. But I don't want to spend the intro just listing off all the movies I'm excited about. I just want to let you know you're going to expect a lot of reviews out of this channel. And I hope watching the reviews I put out proves to be an entertaining endeavor. And more importantly, thank you for watching videos like this. I really do appreciate it. Plus, it gives me the motivation to make these videos and let you know whether a movie's worth seeing or not. With all that hoopla out of the way, let's review the movie that starts off the summer season, hopefully with a bang, The Devil Wears Prada 2, the long-awaited sequel to the 2006 surprise hit Devil Wears Prada. Best way I could phrase the plot, it's 20 years later, and Miranda Priestly, as well as Runway, are kind of in financial and as well as cultural straits, as in they don't really have the power and the appeal that they used to. So Andy Sachs is offered a position at Runway 20 years after she kind of went through the struggles, ups and downs of actually being an employee there to try and steer things in the right direction. That's the simple plot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was excited for The Devil Wears Prada. I've already seen it before, but upon rewatch, I kind of got nervous because the way the movie ended kind of indicated that a sequel would, I don't know, I felt like the explanation for why a sequel has to exist, well, it kind of needed to be genuine as well as not feel forced. Because even though the summer season is filled with sequels, I bet you a few of them feel forced. That's just the law of averages sometimes. Studios want money, so I was afraid that The Devil Wears Prada 2 would fall into that camp. Like, I wasn't expecting a bad movie because I think the returning quartet of Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci, they gave great performances in the first one. I expected it to continue here. That's just a long-winded way of me saying they actually explained it in a pretty effective manner, and so all my doubts kind of calmed down because of that. I'm not going to spoil it, but it does give way for this movie to have really strong commentary on just the state of things. Digital over physical, AI over human creativity, content versus art. Those are themes that this movie does tackle in unexpected and yet effective ways. So I guess starting off with the screenplay, like, I feel like in terms of a continuation, Aline Brosh McKenna provides the best case scenario for a sequel like this. In fact, the entire movie, complemented by the screenplay, really does feel like it's in the same style as the original Devil Wears Prada, which I actually do appreciate because the original Devil Wears Prada just felt like a 2006 movie. That's not to say it has many contemporary themes, because it does. I'm just saying it feels like a product of its time in all the best ways, and I feel a movie like Devil Wears Prada hasn't really been, I don't know, duplicated. But for a sequel, yeah, it does maintain the heart and soul as well as the style of the original one. Sometimes it does get a bit too much. I'll get to that in the mixed complaints, but for the most part, this felt like a welcome surprise. The original Devil Wears Prada was more a vibes movie than a structurally sound one. No offense to everyone who loves Devil Wears Prada, I do too, but I do feel like it does have some structural issues, but I guess I'm able to overlook them. Without ruining the rest of the review, I feel like there's a chance that this one would also run into that same camp. But yeah, I was very surprised at how laid back this movie was, but also doesn't really go too far in terms of excessive nostalgia. This isn't really a nostalgia bait movie. I'm just saying the vibe of it, the vibe of the experience, really did feel in keeping with the original Devil Wears Prada. As I alluded to, the acting strong. Again, I was expecting a quartet to be strong. Who wasn't? But yeah, all four give such strong performances that it's hard to cite like an actual standout. Like, I feel like in terms of the scene stealer, I mean, all of them are, but Emily Blunt really does slip back into this role, as well as has fun with the role in a way that you honestly knew given the original one, but here she's really allowed to stretch a lot more of her comedic muscle in a pretty shocking and rip-roarious manner. Most of the laughs came from her character. Stanley Tucci, I mean, he was great in the original, and he's also a very strong actor, and he continues to prove why he was the best fit for this character. In fact, the most relatable character in the Devil Wears Prada universe is his character. But the characters and actors whose names are so iconic that I, as well as many people, will actually remember them on the tip of their tongue. Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway as Brenda Priestley and Andy Sachs. Like, I do feel they slip back into a role like gloves. They're definitely not the same characters we last saw them as. They're a lot more grounded in reality, but that just allows the actors to imbue their characters with a lot more personality. I'm not saying they lack personality in the original one, but it definitely felt like a noteworthy as well as organic continuation. Both of them give great performances. David Frankel is the returning director from the original one, and I really don't know what else there is to say. I really do feel that a lot of what makes this movie so stylistically similar to the original is the screenplay as well as the direction, the cinematography. Like, even though it might not have been shot on film, Florian Ballhaus' cinematography does such a great job at transporting this movie stylistically back to 2006 that it's remarkable. But I mean, yeah, the fact that Frankel's returning is definitely a great sign. Plus, this movie really does not rely on nostalgia bait. It actually paints a story that feels like a worthy continuation of the original rather than just, I don't know, let's get the gang back together and potentially make $1 billion. Scenery was nice. Score was solid. I don't really know what else there is to say because it's a simple movie. Granted, the original Devil Wears Prada was simple too. But I do have a few mixed complaints. Like, I do feel at 2 hours, even though the original Devil Wears Prada ran at a similar runtime, I do feel there are some pacing issues here and there which really do, well, I wouldn't say hinder the fun. I feel like there's a lot of fun in here, arguably just as much as the original, but I did notice the runtime kind of has a few pacing issues. Not to the point where you're not having fun, but have to mention that. Also, in this movie's effort to not really resemble nostalgia bait, it just makes the moments which blatantly tried to like replicate iconic moments or things from the original movie are a lot more noticeable. Most of them are subtle and well implemented, but there's like one in particular, not really spoiling it. This is really just a technical spoiler, I guess, as in technical elements. But in the original one, they did a scene in which it was kind of transitioning seamlessly from scene to scene in Anne Hathaway dress to dress, complemented by Madonna's Vogue. Like, I feel like that was the scene which really made Vogue the theme song of The Devil Wears Prada, but I really did feel in order for this movie to establish its own identity, it really needed to, like, steer away from that, and for the most part, it does. Like, I'm not going to take points away from this movie for trying to, you know, recapture that magic. I really do feel the magic was a bit lost. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a good scene overall, but I do feel it kind of is jarring compared to the original movie, in which you kind of haven't been exposed to a scene like this for the first time yet. Again, not a big deal because The Devil Wears Prada 2 is definitely a worthy sequel. Some may argue it's better. I don't think it's worse. I think it's just as good as the original. One that understands how to translate this concept as well as these characters in a shockingly strong manner to modern day. Actors did great. The movie really did feel like a natural continuation of the original. The more I explain why I liked it, the more I realize it's as simple as this. It's The Devil Wears Prada 2, and the best case scenario happened. The real authority approves. If you liked or even loved the original, you're definitely going to like and love this, as I did. Definitely a strong start to the summer season, and I am looking forward to what's next. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on The Devil Wears Prada 2. Did you love it as much as I did, or do you think the original one was superior, or do you think this is actually better? I don't know, but let me know. Alright, peace.